Hey there, and happy Tuesday, and also happy free shipping day, day number 2. So thank you so much for those of you that have placed your orders for free shipping. Let me just adjust this light here. If I pop it up a little bit to help me work, then sometimes it gives me a big glare on my glasses or face. Sorry about that. But I kind of promised you a part 2, and I'm really excited about part 2. So lots of finishing things from yesterday's card. So yesterday's card, I did this, and I wanted to use the cutout from the middle of this, and I came out with this. So I actually like both cards, and I wanted to create a card that didn't look like I was just using up scraps. And I think we all get pretty excited if we can use up scraps. So I'm actually like, it didn't look like I was just being desperate to use up scraps when this kind of finished up and came together. So I'm excited about that. And I'm actually using up some other scraps too that you guys will laugh about too when I get to that part of my card. So I'm using Winterly Treetops again. And yesterday's card, I kind of wanted to make like a winter card. Today is definitely Christmas. So let me get my camera turned around for you guys here. See how that goes. So yeah, I'm still limping around with my nice little band-aid on my finger. It came off last night, my hot bath. I love taking hot baths in the winter. I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but every day I think, oh, maybe I can get by without needing to warm up before I go to bed. And then night hits and it's winter time and I just get so cold. I don't know why. So my band-aid came off and I was like, wow, what a shock to the system when your whole end of your finger is completely like raw. And so I'm kind of holding on the tip with the band-aid by a flap, but that's like too much information. I know it's just gross, but that's part of my part 2. So that's still going strong there. It feels a little bit better today. It doesn't have its own heartbeat, put it that way. So that is a plus. The other thing I wanted to follow up on, thank you so much to our fellow stamper, Lori. She knows who she is. She recommended that when I couldn't figure out what the bird was that I could hear, that I check out the Merlin ID app, and it IDs birds. So I think we have a winner. I played it for my husband too. I said, do you think this is what we heard the other night? And so and he said, yes. I'm pretty like 100% sure we have an eastern screech owl. So if you're into birds and want to Google that, that's what we've heard. And it's very distinct. And I know I've heard it before too. So it wasn't like, oh, I heard it one night and that's it. So now it's kind of fun to have like a name for that. Cause years ago I heard it, haven't for a while. And we've actually been, excitedly enough, had some great horned owls, and they've made their nests in our backyard and had babies, and boy, those things grow fast. So it's fun to have something different to listen to too. And usually we hear that before like a windy day or storm or whatever. So that kind of like came before the wind and everything. And now we've got some flurries going. All right, so just following up on that in case you wanted to know part 2 about that. I felt like I was just so off and goofy yesterday. So hopefully I'll stay more on task today for you guys. Hi there, Kathy and Rosina and Lynette. All right, so this is the card that I'm going to make for you today. And so it'll make sense that when where's my die? Oh, I put that away. The die that made the outside of that, if you remember, then gives us this inside that pops out. And like I said, most people throw that away, and it's not a big deal if you do. Some people have actually like stamped more of the like leaves on here to make it look like there's some greenery and such too. And that was a neat idea. But I thought, you know what? I'm just going to put it on white, kind of build it up and go with it. So I'm just going to kind of have this sitting there so I can compare, and this is going to come into play later too, and you guys will laugh at me, or you might go, oh, that's not so silly. Okay, so today I'm using the Winterly Treetops. Yesterday I took the die of this and just cut it out of the pretty paper to make the card there. That's all Designer Series paper, but today I decided to, I'm going to, for you guys, stamp it out, color it with some blends, and it didn't take long at all. So I'm using this and the dies. I'll show you the dies when I get to them. I kind of showed them in detail yesterday, so I don't need to do that. And then also this online exclusive. So the Winterly Treetops is from the current mini catalog. Greetings of the Season and these dies are an online exclusive. So I pulled out one of the tags here. You'll see that when I use it. And just loving this. I'm using the Love and Joy. And for the inside, it's the most wonderful time of the year. I'm always kind of hesitant when I bring that out because for some people, it's not the most wonderful time of the year. So I like to be sensitive about that. But I also have been loving may your holiday season be filled with warmth and cheerful celebration. You know, there too, it can be like maybe people aren't celebrating in a cheerful way this time of year. But I also like that one. I like the size of it and how it fills up the inside of the card. So yeah, I have this paper here kind of as a reference too, so you guys will go, oh yeah, that's the suite she's working with. And I kind of use this to go, okay, how do I color those birds, right? And maybe you'll go, wow, Belle's a good color. I was kind of surprised at how well my coloring turned out, not gonna lie. Okay, so for my card today, the base is going to be out of Mellow Moss. Hi there, Joyce. My card's going to be opening this way. And then the next thing that I did is took some basic white, and this is cut 3.5 by 5 inches. I'm just going to double check because I have a couple chunks of white. Yep, that's how that's going to fit. So that's the sizing for that. And like I said, now this gray granite chunk is just the leftover pieces when I did the die cutting for this kind of peekaboo card, and that's designer series paper that's peeking through, but this came right out of there. It's almost like a jigsaw puzzle, right? Should be an easy one. 2 pieces, we can do that. All right, so let me just put this down here like so, and then ribbon choices. Actually, I'm just going to wait and then show you the ribbon choices because that could be my next step kind of, but I'm going to do my stamping and coloring first because that will always kind of determine like what type of ribbon choices anyone would want to use anyway, right? Okay, so I've got these birds on their little perch with the holly berries, and it's just such a pretty stamp. It's a larger stamp, so I'm taking my big black ink pad and putting that over top, and then I'm just putting that on a chunk of basic white like so. I'm not measuring it because it's going to get die cut, and so we're not going to worry too much about the size. You'll just pick your own and go, okay, does this fit on there? And then do that, right? Okay, nope, this is the one for that single bird. There we go. Which you could do too. Like a single bird wouldn't be a bad thing. All right, so let me put this on here. And so now for the coloring in, oh yeah, let me get this closer. Hi there, Jerry, good to see you. So for the coloring in, I kind of like to bring that closer with my stuff here. So there we've got that, and I've got all of these blends here. And what I'm going to do is start with Pool Party. So I've got light and dark Pool Party. I'm going to start with the darker. And just going to kind of start at the crown here and go from the top and then down the wings and kind of fill that in. Usually when there's a lot of like black inks from the artist, I like to just fill that in because you're not going to see the difference between light and dark when the artist has already sketched that much kind of into that. And I'm just going to kind of go up here and fill that in as well, and then down the tail here and here. There's just, like I said, not a lot to color in there. So that's the dark Pool Party. And then I'm going to come right back with the light Pool Party. Just kind of fill in the bottom of this one here. And that's going to be lighter. And then just kind of continue to go around the eye, up in the head portion here, and fill in the rest of the wing. And the same with the rest of the wing here. Maybe just a little bit more into the face there. Leave that. So that's why there's really not a lot of coloring here for that. And then my interesting choice is light pumpkin pie. And I'm just going to kind of go underneath there like so. And that's kind of, I'll show you the picture. It's kind of the color I think that they did too. So just a little bit of that. Yeah, so here is the actual birds cut out of the designer series paper. So I think that looks pretty similar, guys. Like, I was pretty proud of myself. Like, you never know. Sometimes it's just hard to find that right thing. And then the blends has that ivory / bronze 2-pack. And so this one is, yep, double checking the bronze here. I'm just going to go over the beaks in the bronze and then kind of carefully go down the branch here in bronze as well. And Stampin' Up! Has all those nice neutral tones and colors too. So if you don't have this actual one, you can probably find another form of the brown too to kind of fill in that. So that's an easy fill in, easy coloring. And then already we're down to just the cherry cobbler. And so I'm going to start with the dark. So I want to make sure that I don't have any, from putting the cap on, any ink on my fingers. These almost look like little olives. There's little caps on some of them. And so I'm just going to kind of just fill in a little bit of the dark cherry cobbler here and there on these holly berries. And no rhyme or reason, but it just kind of helps offset and give it a little bit of depth when I go back and do the rest in the light cherry cobbler. So I started with dark and then just kind of go over it all with the light to blend it. And like, not bragging, but like, I really thought that this turned out looking like the paper, and it kind of should, because the red was easy to tell that it was cherry cobbler and such, but I just thought it would seem like there was a lot of coloring, and I could have probably added more color, made the bird a different kind of color combination. But as much as I like coloring with these blends, I tend to make several of one card once I know what I'm doing. And this gray thing that kind of started me on the path, the cutout, I have probably about 24 of them. So it's like, okay, in my mind, I probably could be making about 24 of these cards. Do I want to sit and color all night on one card if I know I have 24 more to go? Okay, so I have that. And look at that. So Stampin' Blends designer series paper. Look at that. How fun. That it turned out really similar. So sometimes that's how I get my inspiration too. Just copy away like that, right? All right, so let me bump this back up so that you don't like blow your eyeballs out by having it too close. All right, so now this is going to end up on here. And so what I had chosen kind of first was this black and vanilla. We also used to have black and white gingham ribbon. So if some of you have that or remember that, but I just thought, oh, kind of like a homespun feel. I do like it. It's not like I don't like it. I do like that. But I knew the sentiment that I was choosing was going to be Christmas. And like this, I could use like this any time of year. So what I decided to go with is that satin ribbon with the gold edging. So cherry cobbler and gold satin ribbon. And a lot of you have ordered this. So I know you like it. So I'm like, let's use that again. So I'm just going to wrap this around. My goodness. Now I feel like I only have 2 fingers. Just is so awkward to not be able to kind of feel that with that big bandage on. And I think too, it hurts enough still that I don't want it to touch too much. So I'm very protective of it as well. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap that around there. Okay, got that. And there we go. Now where's my ribbon cutting scissors? Going to give that a little snip. And then I always kind of just make sure to give this a fresh snip so that if there's any frayed edges from pulling on it as I make my knot, then it's good to go. All right, that got maybe a little short, but I don't think the focus is going to be on the ribbon so much as the other things going on. And actually, it's kind of cute like that. Okay, so next, let's kind of build. I'm going to put this here. We're going to build up the sentiment a little bit. So from the greetings of the season, that's the set of dies that coordinates with the greetings of the season words, and it has little edges on there to be able to put like a ribbon through or twine or something like that. So I'm just going to take and bring out just a strip of basic white cardstock here. And I'm just going to put this on here. I know it's a really big chunk. I could have cut it down, but I was more like, hey, looking up to see if my embellishments were in stock before I came live, instead of like finishing the touches of everything and that. So I'm like, okay, I'm sure I'm not the only one who sends a whole big strand of something through the cutting machine. So this is going to eventually get cut off. So I'm not worried about that. But what I'm going to do now is get out our sentiment that says love and joy from Greetings of the Season. I'm going to ink that up in Cherry Cobbler. Kind of get that centered to fit on there. Isn't that so pretty? I just love the font in that whole stamp set. Some of it's plain and some of it has cursive, and it looks really fancy, and I'm kind of impressed how readable it is for as fancy as it is, because sometimes that can get kind of like hard to read. So now I want to chop that off. So I'm going to put this in my trimmer up against the edge here to the point where it's just going to cut it off below the sentiment. There, I want to make sure they're not cutting that off at all. And so this is just going to get tossed, and hopefully it doesn't look like a headstone or something. I don't think it does. I didn't until just now. And then let's see, we have extra pieces here. Here we go. And so for this piece, I wanted to kind of just add a little bit more red to that. So I took a 1 inch, which this is 1 inch, and just cut off a chunk. And then I'm going to add some adhesive here to the back. And then that's going to just kind of stick on here to add a little bit of an edge. So I've got that. And I just think it looks a little nicer to have that finished off with the Cherry Cobbler. And so now that's ready to put on here as well. So I think I'm gonna just kind of finish building up the card here. There's not much left to it. So like I said, I was excited how it kind of worked out, kind of having that peekaboo inside look. And it just looks really cozy for the birds. Okay, so I've got this on, and then my next step was to add this and then this, and that wasn't bad, but I kind of felt like I needed something a little bit more to like ground it. So awkwardly, I didn't know if this would work. I just had this strip of early espresso, and let me catch that measurement for you. So this is about 3/4 by 4 1/4 here, and I'm just going to take some adhesive and run that down, and that's going to go kind of about where the ribbon is across here. And it's going to maybe cover up a little bit of the cutout, but not terrible. So kind of gives the appearance maybe of a branch, but in a neutral tone where I hope that people don't see it. Like, I know that sounds weird, but I've done that to other cards where you just need something to ground it, but it looks so natural that people really don't see it, but it just kind of actually helps everything that you want to be seen to be seen. So I've got that going. Okay, so I'm just going to put some dimensionals on this. I've got all those papers taken off, and then let me grab 2 more dimensionals here for my Love and Joy, so I can put that on at the same time here, like so. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of start to place that on there, and this on here, like so. Okay, so I like that placement. So I thought, okay, that looks pretty good. But then I wanted to do some more. So that got me thinking, and the Winterly Treetops there, yesterday showed these little like greenery dies. There's 2 of them. So I thought, oh, how fun to just add a little bit of greenery to make the scene even more cozy. Excuse me, I have had a dry throat because I can tell it's that time of year. I love that I can put both of these through, and that's going to be the Mellow Moss color again to match the background or the base of the card. So let me get that. Excuse me. Okay, it's like, where's my take your pick tool to get that off? And so I've got that. And this one I need to poke out. Okay, let's see. And now this is going to be another fun thing. So I've got these Mellow Moss, 2 of those cut out. And then next, if you remember, because earlier in my video I said I was going to bring this sled in. So if you remember me die cutting the sled base, so when I die cut the sled base out of gold foil, all of these gold foil pieces also came out, and you know, I could have chucked them, and most people would. That's okay, no judging. But I'm like, well, what if I can use these pieces for something, right? Well, look at this. This fits in there. And then, oh, where's my second? Here's my second one. And this. And granted, the tips don't fit. Whoops. So it's kind of like growing boys with high water pants. So it doesn't quite reach to the bottom. But that's going to get tucked in. Whoops. The more I think about it, you know, setting it into my card, I know that they're going to get tucked in. And so the bottom won't matter. So now I feel like, oh, I'm using that up. Which to some people, they'd be like, I would be just as happy to cut that out of a whole 12 by 12 piece of the foil, the gold foil too. All right, so I've got, oh, that one did pop out. Okay, so I've got that. All right, and then let me grab my glue dots here. So what I'm gonna do is just take, and of course, if you had to choose, what do you want to be on top, like, and steal the show? It's gonna be the gold more than the Mellow Moss, but I kind of just crisscross the bases or those stems together, and then just press them into my mini glue dot here, and then that's gonna just tuck underneath that branch so you don't see the mini glue dot. And now that's coming out there, and it kind of fills in, or not fills in, but fits in with that look. And then I'm going to do the same thing here, just kind of crisscross the gold and mossy meadow, squeeze that into a mini glue dot, and then that's going to just kind of tuck up here, kind of sticky. Here we go, tuck up underneath there like so, and got that. Okay, and so you can fluff it out if you want or whatever, but we all know if you're going to mail it, that's going to make things change too. So I've got that going as well. So that, I thought, let's stop with that, but I couldn't, because this is where we also have these cherry cobbler and pearl adhesive backed berries. So they are single, and they're also in clusters of 3. Now I noticed when I did my sample, the way that this, and I'll have to remember that for next time, there's a white chunk there that probably should have ended up there. And it just fit perfectly to put those holly berries up there. So now I'm like, oh, where do I put holly berries on this, right? So maybe I'm going to see if I want to put a cluster of 3 here. Yeah, I kind of like that, because otherwise what I'm going to, I like that I can do one of those. Otherwise I'm going to end up putting probably 3 of these somewhere or whatever. Kind of like that more than I thought. I was either going to put it there or there too, but I kind of like that. It kind of fills that space nice. So I've got that. And then for the inside, I'm just taking my usual 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white. I'm going to bring over my cherry cobbler ink pad again. And it's the most wonderful time of the year, is going to get inked up like so. And then I can put that right on the inside of my card here, like this. And there we go. So who knew that using like this, like just kind of scrap piece, like I said, I could either toss this or like make lemons out of lemonade, but it looks like it fits. It doesn't look like I tried to do anything goofy, so I was really happy with that, and more impressed that that I could color these birds to kind of look like those birds too with my Stampin' Blends. And so this is scrap basically, and so are my gold pieces technically as well, but really fun, like Christmas cards. And now that we have some winter snow coming down, it's kind of just feeling pretty cozy for tonight too. Still have a lot to put up my tree, and like I said, not really like anxious to tackle that with a finger that's like half cut off. So, so I have my host code that you just saw there. I'll post it with my still shot of my card. Know that today is still free shipping for orders of $75 or more. If there's something you want to tack on to an order, let me know. Especially if you're local, it's very easy to get things to, or if you think you'll be coming to an upcoming class and want to grab it from me, then you can do that as well. And so I love to send out little thank you gifts. So if you use a host code, you'll get one of those from me as well. So have a good, cozy evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.